to easily draw heads from different angles. Now, this is something a lot of people struggle with, rightfully so, and I think that it's made even harder by the way that people tell people to practice it. Do not fully render your drawings when you're practicing head angles. The game that you're playing is how many reps of this can I possibly do in the least amount of time. These drawings each took me 20 to 30 minutes, and about a year or two ago, they probably would have taken me 45 minutes a pop. If you are spending 30 to 45 minutes on each of your different head angles, you are going to get better, but you are going to get better very, very slowly. Fail fast and fail often. These drawings take me very little time. This is where we're going to live today. We're going to rely on a very simplified construction today. A circle, a center line. Connect the circle to the center line. Then you're going to have one brow line or eye line, whatever you decide to draw with, one nose line, and a line for the mouth. Our brain already interprets this as a face, a very simplified face, right? And you can apply whatever style that you want to on this face, but it registers as a face. And also, it came together very quickly. So let's draw a few different circles. The most important part of drawing heads from different angles is the center line. The center line tells you a lot about the gesture of the head pose. So let's say the center line here, one is here, one is here. I'll do another one like this. Let's connect this gestural shape together. It's just a simplification. So now, based on how we place this center line, we want to place our other line. And actually, let me, just so it's exaggerated, because this and this are very similar, let's do it like this. Look at this pose going straight forward. Notice how these are perpendicular lines. Of course, they're not going to be perfectly perpendicular, but you can feel it out based on the angle of the head. It's not as intuitive at first, but I encourage you to understand box logic. What is box logic? A lot of people, after watching a whole bunch of how to draw like Kim Jong-gi videos, just draw a whole bunch of boxes around everything, or they make everything made of boxes. And that's cool. I just think that that's a very slow way to draw. Most people do not start out with boxes when they're doing everything. This is just an exercise to show you how to think about drawing the head. The box logic hinges on one key thing that you need to understand. Your head has a front plane and it has a side plane. I know that your head doesn't look like a box the way that you traditionally think about it, but do me a favor. Cover your ear, your hand looks like this. Cover your nose, your hand looks like this. Congratulations, you just discovered that your head has planes. Let's say that we're looking at this head pose. There's a couple of different ways that you can go about this. So early on, you need to decide, am I looking up at this head pose or am I looking down at this head pose? Let's say I'm looking up at it. So I'm from below and I'm looking up at it. This eye line will look something like this. Let's say another one that I'm looking up at. Let's say this one we're actually looking down at. Let's say this one we're also looking down at. When you're trying to learn box logic, I encourage you, bro, pick up something that you have nearby that looks kind of like a box. For this, we go with Morton's Coarse Kosher Salt. I'm not sponsored, but hey, if y'all want to sponsor me, go ahead then. Rotate this box in space, and you'll kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this head angle. I'm looking at it through the camera, so I don't know if this is exactly right, but it looks kind of like that. If I could line it up correctly. Hold up. You're looking down. I don't know. You get the point. Now notice, this line is parallel to this line, is parallel to this line. So now let's add these nose and mouth lines in, parallel to the one that we put in there before. For most people, especially beginners, do like 30 of these. It might take you a couple of minutes per, but that's a couple of minutes per. Keep it simple. Now, in a head pose like this one, your ear is going to line up with your brow line and your nose line. Because your ears exist on the side plane, you can't just draw it like this and put your ear all the way up here, right? If you are truly looking up at this head pose, your ear is actually going to be a little bit lower. Same thing here. Let's do it. It's going to be roughly right there. This one, because we're looking down at them, it's going to go up like this. And again, if you don't believe me, grab your handy dandy Morton's Kosher Salt, baby. Another way to think about it is if you're looking at glasses. If you wear glasses, you have an advantage. Go look in the mirror. When you're looking up like this, you see, sorry, my glasses are broken. I know y'all see the Ray-Ban. Anyway, right? Looking down, it obeys the same box logic. Another thing that I forgot to say, your chin line is going to be parallel to these lines as well. So I guess you can add another line right here. From the bottom of your ear, complete that jawline. From here, you can go crazy. Render them however you want. If you want to come back later and render these, you can. That is completely an option for you. Me, when I'm just practicing head angles, I only want to practice one thing at a time, baby. I don't want to practice 18 things at a time. If I want to lock in on head angles, I'm going to be practicing head angles today. So I'm going to do about 20, 30 drawings that look just like this. Now me, because I have a little bit more experience, I always come out and add a couple of more rhythms in there just to make it look a little bit more lifelike. Add a little nose here. I'm not really too concerned about how everything is lined up. I'm not too concerned about how everything looks. Remember that your mouth exists on a mound, so it's going to be a little bit off-centered. Now come on, do the same thing. Add a couple more rhythms here, just to have fun, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a little bit more experience in it, I can come out with things that look kind of good really quickly. But like I said, if you're a beginner at this, keep it incredibly simple and it'll be a lot easier for you. But head angles that look like this are probably the hardest because they're like really wonky. Let's bring in this jawline a little bit. He looks a little too blocky. Let's angularize it a little bit. Is that a word? Is angularize a word? Somebody look that up and put it in the comments. Is angularize a word? Anyway, these come together very quickly for me because I've done hundreds of these. And when I say hundreds, I'm not gassing it. I'm not just giving you a number just to give you a number. I have done hundreds of these sketches. So if it's not coming as easily to you at first, it's not supposed to come that easily. You're going to have to do dozens of these. That's why I say, do not fully render these drawings. You're not practicing rendering right now. You're just trying to get the head angle down. Now, of course, you want to include a neck. The gesture of the neck adds a little bit of character to your drawing, right? Depending on how your neck is situated, the head pose will read very differently. Like a neck that looks like this will read differently than a neck that looks like this. It's just a way to add a little bit of character, add a little bit of flair to your head poses. The neck is very important. Don't forget that neck. Pause. Don't forget that neck. Never forget the neck. Pause. Does this make sense? Did this help anybody? If this helped you, please put it down in the comments. Comment below. I know you want to follow me, baby. Why don't you follow me yet? Maybe go ahead and hit that follow button. Go ahead and hit that follow button.